What's up, everyone? I am Log. I'm here with the R Buddies, episode 5 of the Bugs Cast. I'm here today, joined by Sylvie and Keebs. What's up, guys? How's it
Hello.
going?
It is going, man.
I heard y'all missed me last week.
Yeah,
Something like
yeah.
that.
And apparently, we're missing some more because, some of our members had to go to this NAIC.
Yeah, who the fuck was gonna play
You can't see.
Pokemon?
I'm
That's
doing
not-
air quotes right now.
Like-
This Pokemon tournament.
Oh
Yeah.
my lord.
Who
Who
wants
plays
to play
But
Pokemon? We
anyway.
can play Elestrals, man. Like, what the
Exactly. Just play Elestrals.
Exactly.
Hop on Elestrals. Like that's all you gotta
True.
do. Hop on Elestrals, bro.
fuck?
Yep.
True.
All right. But anyway, this week, this upcoming Saturday, from the week of this recording, we have the second Firestorm Premier event. So today, we just want to talk about some decks of maybe some decks that you want to play, maybe some decks that you might expect to go up against. So, I would like to start with a certain deck that I have to mention. I have a quota for every Bugscast episode. I have to mention Antian.
What?
I'm throwing Antian out there first.
And tight.
I think this deck still has insane potential. So right now the current build is the Spectaris Artemis build. It's kind of the thing going around. Of course, you guys know the plays already with Spectaris, champion Spectaris, suppress a card in the field, Arbud, search out, just free Ascension into Antian if you don't get gazed during the process. I think the deck has crazy potential going into this format. I think Spectaris is still a great card. We've seen a ton of Like a Void going on, so you get to just cast that card out for free. I want to get your guys' thoughts on the current state of Antian.
I found the suppression build was like uber mid because like if you didn't see your pieces, like you kind of just folded to literally everything, and that was
Yeah.
like a big problem. I went 2-1 at a locals with it, like my first Firestorm locals that I could play. And it happened to be like the whole locals was bugs, so like it didn't really matter. But I didn't even use Aardvarm to like kill an opponent bug. It was only ever mine. But the thing is, I saw Aardvarm in my opening hand so often, and even like if I mulliganed, I'd see it back. So it kind of just sucks that you can't go from deck. But if you don't see Artemis or the Spectaris, you kind of just fold everything else. My loss was to Spiders, and that's a deck we should be beating.
Yeah, that should be a free matchup. Yeah, if you want to add anything to that, Keebs.
Yeah, I mean, like, I'm not personally a fan of the Artemis build. I think Artemis is a great card, and I can't wait for it to actually be like a really fun and busting card to use. But I just don't think it fits in Bud Snacks, just because for the fact that like, if everyone's gonna be playing like Champ Like a Void, because you can just throw it in any deck and it just works, and it's just like I rather just like set up my own Champ Like a Void, or like just so that way I can ascend to the Arborm if I wanted to, because then I have like a board full of like lunar dudes that I can just send my Arborm, or like I can next turn like, okay, you outed like my like a void or werepup, whatever. I'm still gonna go into our buddy into Spectaris into Antian or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. So like I think the Artemis build has potential, but it's just like it's too combo heavy, right? It's like a 3-card combo, 2-card combo, something like that.
2.
Yeah, it's a 2-card
Yeah.
combo.
More like 2.5, but yeah.
Yeah.
It also doesn't help that the only Artemis searcher, I mean the only two in the format, one's Plucky, bad card, terrible. We can't even slot Solar into this deck anyway. But the other one is Fawnlet, and I think Fawnlet is just terrible.
Yeah. It's not.
Maybe in a Moose deck, we might see Brewlock cooking with that, but I hate running Fawnlet. I also know that Wirtz just topped a locals with Antian using the Toxiery Dense Fog build. I'm personally not a huge fan of it, I'm just not a huge fan of Toxiery Dense Fog. With the Like a Void going around with all this lunar stuff, I think Dense Fog is just a bad card, and it's only good use at this point is like against Majesty, and apparently no one's playing Majesty. I'm actually shocked about that.
Majesty's
I think,
like honestly pretty fucking mediocre. It's the same concept
Yeah.
of like Anti. If you don't see your pieces, you can just fucking fold, and that's not good.
Yeah, I know some people are building Majesty with Chronodile as well. There's dude, local level has like people are cooking. They got the craziest decks going to
I got
locals.
the deck that you guys should bring to locals. Trust. It's fucking Eddies, brother.
Oh,
I won
yeah,
locals
yeah.
with Eddies the other day. Whew. Hey, we don't talk about the fact that I only won because of tiebreakers. It's still a win. You know, Eddie's won. Eddie's won the locals.
I'm not gonna lie. After I remember you sent that in the Discord, and I immediately was like, "Hold on, let me actually go look at this Eddie deck because like it might actually be cooking."
Bad.
It
It's
actually might be
so
cooking.
fucking bad.
Dude, I need you to bring that list and win a premiere with it.
I will not.
Well, here's the
No,
thing.
if I already qualled to Worlds, like I get my qualled Worlds, then I'll bring it for a premiere. If I don't, I'm not bringing that shit. So bad.
That's fair. That's fair. Well, speaking of interesting decks, I forgot to mention this before, but a good old friend MBT put out a bounty, a free Stellar Arcolith for anyone who tops a premiere with a starter deck. So we've seen something close to this. Our past champion, the last winner of the Moonrise premiere, Cobalt, went 4-3 with the Zeus starter deck.
That's fucking
Yeah.
crazy.
I mean, it makes sense because Sparket's in there, right? Like, I think like
Is Sparket in it?
started. Yeah,
No,
Eldrick's in there.
the original has
the
it.
original
the,
started. Yeah, the original started.
No,
has
he played the new
The
new one.
champ-
the
Zeus.
new the
Yeah, he played the
champ. I thought we were
champ
talking about the old one.
No,
Okay.
he was playing the champ one, which has Elichick at 2.
Yeah.
That's just crazy.
I remember also seeing MBT's tweet about his matchups at locals. He was going against an opponent. His opponent dropped Elichick, and he was like, "You can't play that card." He was like, "I could play this card. You guys can't." Just that's how we knew.
The worst part of that is like, let's say someone brings like the Imperial, where the fuck it is, starter deck to a locals, and they drop Spark it with Zeus. You're like, whoa, hold
Exactly.
on.
He's like,
Just
whoa,
please
whoa,
confirm he's
crazy.
reading
That's
the
crazy,
exact
though.
list. Like,
And then next to they drop Ash Rabbit, and you're like, okay, well, you get the.
And then you
cards, and
realize
they
you're
go
like,
have
"Wait a
this."
second.
This is not
Imperial's
it.
a bad card. I don't have to
True.
worry about anything."
but
Exactly.
Spark it's a good card. It's at
That
2 in that
Sparkit
deck.
is a good card.
It's at 2.
It's a really good card.
Yeah, moving on from that though, I think it's next to talk about the big deck that we saw last format, and it's what Trish is calling the new fives with Chrysor. What are your thoughts on that?
I feel like it's gonna get Chronodile status until someone like properly figures out the deck. Is like, it's just gonna be, oh, we're gonna have a lot of people playing the deck because it's like, it's a good deck, but it's not gonna convert, and that's gonna be a bad thing until someone fully figures out like a good way to build it and not have. The big issue is with like people being like playing Like a Void and stuff like that. Is they're like, oh, that's why Chrysler is so good. Is you just beat over a puppy, but then their opponent's like, oh, I'm just not going to summon a puppy, and then you're like, well, I guess this Sorlet does fuck all.
Yeah, I mean, like, I said it like maybe like 1 or 2 pods ago, where it's like it's just the same as Navi. Like, that's all this card is. It's just win Navi, and Navi was already determined bad because of like all the like issues it had to play around. And it's the same thing with like News Champ Sorlet. Like, it has to play around so many different counter runes. It has to connect. It has to be able to beat over something in order to get the effect off. And it's just a lot for it to for you to go right. Like, if you can connect a Sorlet, you've already put yourself probably in a winning position anyway, to where it just didn't matter whether the Sorlet connected or not if you had the opportunity to. So I feel like this, because like, if it's supposed to be a new 5s deck, why not just play actual 5s with the number 5 on it? Because like, the Champ Sorlet's not getting over any like Necrof anytime soon. You know what I mean? And it's just not as strong. Like, it's strong if you pair it with Hurricane, yeah, and your guy has nothing that's higher than a 5 on the board. But
Well, it does feel like the Navi, where like your opponent has to either have nothing or just not understand the counters to Navi for it to be a good thing.
yeah,
I also think it's just different from Navi as well, since Navi was just all like, all right, -2 if you're not lunar or solar, which we entered a lunar solar meta.
Like hard meta,
And
yeah.
it doesn't help because you had to play Zeus with this card. No one's only one deck is playing Demeter, and that's the new Anti-Im build. That's it. No one else is playing Demeter. Everyone else is on Zeus, and unfortunately, you just gotta draw into it because no one's playing Plucky. Plucky's a bad card. We don't play Plucky here. Sorry to slander that card. I'm just not a fan of Plucky. New Plucky though is great, but
New Plucky is crazy.
old Plucky, bad. Thumbs down.
I seen the.
I mean, old Plucky has use in solar decks. You know, you can
Dude, not
Apollo's
even.
stocks are going up.
Not even,
bro.
I had a person at my locals who played double liar, one onto his Plucky and one onto the opponent's Elestral, just so as a Plucky got +2, +4, and both Elestral stats were swapped. That's how we won a game, was double liar.
I want to go back to the Cry Store though. I do see a lot of potential in that card, and I think it's very, very obvious with it being the most popular deck last Premier. I could potentially see it entering Chronodile status, but right now I do see high potential for the card, especially in early game Firestorm when we're still figuring out the meta. When you just have a simple strat of Wind Nobby with Zeus, like it works. The 5 strat has always worked.
Yep.
It's a playstyle people are used to, just playing that tempo playstyle. And I can still see it carrying over. I still see it being a high-performing deck, especially at this upcoming locals. But I think there is some competition, and that being the rise of Frost.
Yeah.
With Bean Soldier winning with Blizzstrix.
What do you mean? That deck's
Soren
bad.
getting top 8 with Shiveror. The new Shiveror.
That deck's also bad.
With Brumalinks. It's crazy, and I still see a ton of potential as well. Maybe like Whale Lance is just
Hear me out.
Yeah,
Brumalinks not being printed is the only reason those decks are good. We figured out a way to stop Brumalinks. Decks are bad.
yeah. Brumalinks is a crazy card. Just being able to search it, a better Jolton, just Frost Jolton. Also able to search out Blizzard if you
It's a
really
4/2,
want some
right?
room removal.
Yeah, it's a 4/2. I
Yeah,
essentially
it's
a
literally
5 because-
Jolton. It's literally Jolton, except Jolton can be cryoblasted while Brumalinks can't be.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and Cryoblast, we're seeing a big fall off as well for that card. That card is unfortunately, it's sideboard. Like,
Yeah.
we're at the point we should not be main decking Cryoblast now.
Just 'cause
especially with the
something
rise of Frost.
Yeah,
like,
there's just a lot of Frost running around and stuff, so it's just not really worth it just to...
Not even
Play it
Frost
right.
decks are maining it because of like it being so just mid right now.
it's just only good into Fire Nexus artifacts, whatever we're calling it these days.
Argo decks, essentially.
Yeah, it's
It's
I
like
think that
mildly
card's still
okay into
good.
spiders.
Yeah, well, also like Spiders running, Frost Elestrals as well.
Yeah.
We won
Also doesn't help.
one Frost card, being Frostbite. And actually, there was a list that came 17th at the premiere, so they almost got pricing, but they were only playing one Frostmite, and I was like, bro, you gotta at least play 2 Frostmite.
Yeah,
That shit's too important.
Because if your opponent slaps down a rabbit, the spider deck does fuck all. It does nothing.
It does play Paracnes though, so you do get over it. But it's like I'd rather have another Frostmite for that possibility if I don't see Paracne
Right.
than have to rely so big on my Lith. Essentially,
Yeah. Frostmite is just the Eddy Galaxy of spiders.
Yeah.
Mainly just the purpose of being over those big Defender 5 bodies.
The big body
being
beaters.
Champ Whale if it sticks and you're keeping it in defense. Rabbit. Both rabbits at this point because maybe Fire still plays Ash Rabbit.
Oh yeah, they still play Ash Rabbit. For
Yeah.
sure. The card's broken, but fun. But broken.
Another deck that I'm also expecting a lot of going to this next one is Bears.
yeah.
On the topic of Frost and Fire, I think, and the conversation we were having with Bean Soldier last week about that deck has crazy potential. Just being able a 2-card combo, technically, 2-card combo, because all you need is Ursicle and either Hibernation or Ursaden, and then you just Ursicle, search out the other version, and now you got Majersa.
Yep.
Like, because I think you should only be playing. I'm not a Bears expert.
No, you only really play the new Majersa. I was like thinking of like siding the old one because then it keeps you like your little guys alive, but it doesn't really matter too much on that because like they can't be attacked or targeted for stuff, and they get +1/+1. But that's like not the biggest deal in the world because you have Don't Poke. But I found that the other thing was, do we play Narpoon or do we play Smoltuga? Because what's more important to search, your Urseer or like the Urseer or Kinleo or your like your Ursicle? Because like Ursicle is like the pinnacle of the deck, so you kind of always want to have it. But is that like the really big thing you want to like have is Narpoon? Because or you can have the Smoltuga with a bigger body. As well as like some people playing the Ur Scout, the old one, not the champ one, because that also essentially does the same thing like Foamy does, and it kind of keeps you alive. Also, if your opponent just beats over one of it with like a Lyca Void and you summon another one of it in defense, they can't beat over it with Wear Pup because it's a 3 defense. So keeps your boards up.
Yeah, I mean, I personally am more of the Smoltuga fan. I like just with Narpoon, like you're searching for another searcher that just feels really slow, like where everyone's just trying to go for a bombastic play in like turn 2 or 3, where it's like, okay, I'll go Narpoon, search for Ursicle, okay, and then go Ursicle, search for this, and then I'm still needing another combo piece in case, because it's a 3-card combo, right? Ursicle plus whatever the other piece you're missing. So if you don't even have both of the pieces, or at least one of the combo, then it just feels a little lackluster. I'd rather have the Smoltuga for the 5 body, 5, and then just be able to also search out just not Urseer, but also like Kinleo or Necro if you're throwing those things in the deck as well. Like they can bring other values to it besides just searching for my bear combos.
I felt like the reason I play Narpoon was because Narpoon puts on more pressure as like going second starter drop. Oh, I drop a 4/1 that you can't tsunami, so it beats over most things that isn't a rabbit. As well as like if I search or if I play Smoltuga and search Urseer, if I don't already have Don't Poke, that Urseer just kind of sits in my hand until I have Don't Poke, because most times all you're doing is like you're like summoning Urseer, you're attacking and hoping your opponent has like some sort of response to it. Because if it doesn't, like, oh, my Urseer dies, or it just bounces off a defense position card, hoping to bait out something before Don't Poke comes out. But like at that point, good players know that if you're gonna play Don't Poke, you're gonna play it. So they just like, oh yeah, sure, go for it. Like I'm attacking into a defense position rabbit. They're like, go for it. And then you don't flip Don't Poke. They're like, we knew you didn't have it. So it just dies the very next turn.
Yeah.
Yeah. So moving on to other Frost decks, on the topic, I think Nyx Mira has high potential going in. We saw a lot of play last Premier, but I think I feel like people are still figuring out that deck.
I think it was only like 6 or 8 decks that showed up with it though. Like it wasn't that many Nixie players.
It was still enough to make the graphic, I think.
Yeah, it was enough for it to make a graphic. I know that for sure, but it wasn't that many players because I remember it was so quick when going through it, whatever. But it wasn't that many because I don't think most people understand or figure out how to play this deck because it's still kind of like it's a really complicated deck because you have to force to run 3 spirits in your deck at minimum. You have to have a lunar, frost, and solar. You have to have those 3 at minimum. So, and most people just aren't really that good with spirit management. Most people like to play comfy spirit ratios. And so like this deck really forces you not to play those comfort ratios, which I think is a good thing because I think more players need to stop playing comfort ratios and play like 4, 6, 4, 2, just different mixer ratios to play the cards that you need to play rather than just playing, I'm just going to expend my main element because that's the most that I have. And
I think
that.
I think a lot of high tier players are going to be the ones to figure this deck out and not the like people who think the deck, like want to play the deck and want to have fun with it because they think it's a cool mechanic because it's just constantly reviving stuff in the grip. I think the high tier players are the ones who are going to figure it out because of just that, going to have weird spirit math and what other things are you going to put into it to work around it to keep your Nixie shit going. Yeah. So that's like the biggest thing. So that's why I think it's going to be like a weird deck, and if it tops, it's going to be like a good player topping kind of thing.
Yeah. And the deck has like, it's not like unbeatable. Like if you get the Nixie Mirror combo out, it's not like unbreakable. Like you can like go into Fallen form and your opponent just goes, okay, champ, well, swap, swing, and it's like, I I see, or you can just Zeus down like anything really if you needed to, and it's just like there are ways to play around it. It's not like Unveil or anything, but it's a very hard deck just to play just because you have to constantly be thinking, okay, how to manage like the 5 spirits now I have on board without like wasting them all because my opponent decided to like just like boom bat me or something.
Yeah, I definitely see that card more as like a late game threat. Because early game, I think that card is just like if that card drops early game, you have so much time to remove it. If it's in a late game scenario, you're low on spirits, you already burnt so much trying to get stuff out in the field, prevent tempo, all that stuff. I think Nixie with in the hands of a top player can just dominate. Like it could just become an unbeatable threat in the late game. Also being careful of how you do in the late game as well, because if you can't, if you're unable to keep it going, you have to destroy it. Yeah. So keep it also like keeping your spirit management going. Also keeping your like runes ready, not having the idea to pull the trigger on a Gorgons to prevent attack, shielding anything, PTAs, all that stuff. I definitely agree. It's a very high skill deck to get used to. What are people usually like pairing this deck with right now?
Like a void, because you can just summon like multiple guys, and then your next turn you just like hand descend over it. That's why they're like you're only playing like ever 3 frosts in it, because you only need like one for the
Bunnix and then one for the Bunnix effect.
And
then that's all the frost you need because you're going to be ascending with like solar or lunar or whatever else, water.
Well, no, like you play 3 because you go like one for Bunnix effect, and then like let's say your Bunnix dies, then you can like hard ascend over like a pup or something like that. Yeah. So you play 3. But other than that, like I've seen a lot of lists play with like a void with it, or something, or like a solar deck that can keep things alive. Like another one I was seeing was like Champ Exaltus. Something dies, you just go, oh, Champ Exaltus, and then you're on your next turn, you just hard ascend over it again.
Yeah.
Either way, so
that's the way I've been seeing it. That's the way how I've built my Nixie deck. Just trying to like efficiently just like keep a guy on the board, so that way it's when it's time to go into Nixie, I can go into Nixie, and then we got our ball rolling.
Yeah. Also moving on the topic of like void, let's talk about some of those decks going in.
Do we have to?
I mean, at this point, since we've started talking about Firestorm, there hasn't been a single episode where we haven't mentioned like a void.
Can we like can we have it be this episode?
I think it's too late on that already.
Before we swap to like void, Bean, I know you're gonna figure out the Nix Mirror list. Hold it. Don't let it go.
Leak it to me.
I think Bean is actually focusing on Anti right now.
I think he's focusing on bears.
I got a message from Bean.
Bears. That means on big bear mode.
Oh no, I got a message from Bean like 2 nights ago, and he was just like, "Yo, 7 spirit Anti goes crazy," and that's it. That's all I got for him. And then I actually got the list from him that what he's playing, and my version that I was cooking with the list. At least the version that he sent, it was a 2-card difference.
Wow.
I was close. I'm figuring this list out, but I'm saying this list is cooking right now. We aren't dropping this new anti-in list yet because I don't want to. I know Bean's got something cooking. He might be bringing that to Premier. He might. It's either he's bringing anti-ins or he's bringing bears. Let's be honest.
Pretty much.
I don't. He's definitely not bringing back Blizz.
Nah.
If he does, I'm shocked. Actually, I think it'd be really funny if he brings Shiveror again.
I believe in Shiveror. I've been Shiveror's biggest believer back since Frostfall. I love that card so much. It's one of my favorite pet decks, and I actually do think it's a really powerful strategy deck. Not the new one. I think the old one's better personally. Mm-hmm. That's just me. Just it's not targetable. You get the Blizzard or the Stadium up, which we explained earlier. The new Rebel Weeks or whatever. Is the best thing Frost could ever ask for, just to be able to get a Stadium Searcher and just make it a 5 stuff. So I actually really like that deck, and I believe in that deck a lot. Like I think Shiveror is really cool, and it needs to be more personally.
Well, big shouts to Soren getting top 8 with that deck.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Along with the Scorch line, running original Brumalinks as well. I think Original Broomer Links is a funny card. It's just one of those cards you're just like, what does that thing? Anytime that card drops, the first response you get from anyone is, "What the hell does this do?"
Well, the new Earth Goat is just like honestly a better Broomerlinks in my opinion.
Yeah, is it
like
on cast?
No, it's not.
Like
It's not. It's just target.
Oh, it's just
So
target.
you can have multiple things
yeah.
blocked at the same time, and as well as like if you have Keon on board, you can disenchant from Keon to target 2 cards, and they can't be activated while this card is enchanted. So you can essentially block your opponent's whole back row, and just be like, "Get fucked, idiot!" Like,
I definitely see the play. My only issue with the new Urskote is that for defense.
that's great. You play Brummelinks, search mountains, and then play the new bear, the new Ursko. Boom, he's a 5. What more do you need?
I see that. Yeah.
Champwell, that's all I need. Any argument that people will be like, oh yeah, it's like the biggest booty defense, bro. Nothing can kill it. And I'm like,
Champ
yeah,
whale.
but like Champwell, bro. Like, what are you
Champ whale.
talking about?
I love that card though. Anytime I make a deck, I'm like, I need to see if I could fit Champ Whale into
I've
this
thrown
deck.
it every deck.
Literally, I was like, can I fit this in? The Antillion list I'm making, I couldn't fit it in. It was literally between, do I play 3 Rabbit or 3 Champ Whale? And I think the answer is very obvious of what I play there.
The whale, right?
You play both.
Yeah, I play
The
whale.
whale.
I don't need more searches. No, I have Ardbud. I have enough.
Yeah,
searches.
it's all you
I got my
need is
bucks.
Ardbud.
Yeah, but moving on from that, time to leave the cold and go into the water and talk about Draking. We've been seeing a lot of play from Draking lately.
Draking only good because Werepup's a thing. If
Honestly-
Werepub gets hit, bro, I don't think Draken's that
Honestly, no. Like I've been with the locals with a guy who plays like Draking almost exclusively because his first deck he bought was Chronodile, so we just built off that into Draking. Like I've given him all the cards for it. But like he's won so many locals like against like myself and Joel who play like actual meta decks because he's just like a very smart player, and that's kind of what you need to play Draking, is just be very smart and know when to like bring up the Draking or the Joblin or anything like that. It's like it just makes it easier with the Werepup, but it doesn't make it necessarily better.
Werepup makes it more of an incentive to play that deck.
Yeah.
I do think that we were talking about it last week with Josh. Just the idea of swinging Draking over a Werepup, and then if you had the Lycovoid stuff in your deck, now you just get all of your Lycovoid stuff out. You get the full moon, and then next turn you full moon onto Werepup, and then you get Lycovoid, and you get that stuff going now. It's pretty crazy. Of course, we were talking about some of the counters to it last week. Josh mentioned with playing the Mountains of Boreas, Aspral being a 9 to swing over Draking, it can't crash. That's the issue with it.
I think like a big tech
Boreas
that's going
is
to
out.
come in, especially because of like Champ Brummelinks and other decks like Spiders, Fire. I don't know if Fire Nexus is playing like their stadium.
I don't think they play it unless
so
some builds
either.
are still on Remical. I think
Or bears.
with-
Like I think
Yeah.
Fully Forest, Burning Woods is going to come in as a really nice tech going into the next format. I'm actually thinking of like possibly putting it in the side deck for Eddies and figuring out like just put like a fire or 2 in the side, because that thing is going to burn your opponent a lot, especially like against Champ Brummelinks, against Spiders, against Bears. Like that's a decent amount of burn. Like even though it's just 2, but you can do it like multiple times, and you can make Spirit Math very weird.
I think honestly that might be like the spicy tech going to next Premier. We've already seen the rise of Boreas. People are still on the Spiders train. There's the insect Discord, the bug cord. They are still planning out
Hive.
spiders. They haven't given up.
The Hive.
So I think, Burning Woods just might be the new sideboard option. I think
I wouldn't be surprised.
the issue that I'm finding with making my sideboards right now is that I don't know what to put in.
Yeah. That's what I've been struggling a lot lately in my sideboards. Is what do I really need to go in here besides like the third of counter room that I didn't put in the deck. Like it's
So
just
it's a third of counter room, 2 to 3 spoiled fruit, and then it just kind of like branches off from there, depending on what deck you're playing. And maybe like if you're comfortable with doing, you play like the Crab Blast on the side, so that's like 3 slots there. So it's like now that's 6 slots that you've now taken up, and now you have fucking another 9 slots to kind of put whatever else you want in there.
Yeah,
Which I think is
I still think Crowd Blast is like a needed card in the side. It's just for fire. Fire Nexus, like that's just a guaranteed beat over. Like you just get around Kinleos, you get around Volcaries with that. But yeah, no, I do think Burning Woods has insane potential.
especially once we definitely get into a Stadium War meta where like everyone is at least running one copy of their Stadium index. Burning was just gonna become like crazy sideboard option, just because like especially the more decks that need their stadiums more, kind of like how Frost kind of really needs their stadium and they got a new stadium switcher. The more we get those in the game, the more Burning Witch is just gonna become more of a powerful card in the sideboard.
Yeah,
for sure.
I honestly think it could happen soon if Spiders starts picking it up.
Yeah.
If Spiders really gets on track, I know some people were saying, specifically Dymax was saying to drop the lair for that deck. Listen, this is Dymax cooking.
I mean, fair.
At a point, you need to trust. You trust the process with Dymax because at the end of the day, he still makes it work. But it depends if Spiders picks it back up. If they're still playing lair. Frost is still, of course, just going to be playing Boreas because that card's just busted. And am I missing any other stadiums? I don't think any other decks play stadiums.
Like Ursa Den, but that's like
Ursa Den, yeah. But Ursa Den, that's like it drops turn 1.
No, you don't play Ursa Den turn 1. You almost never play that shit turn 1 because like you wanna like
if
build
it
up
drops
for it.
You drop Majursa the same turn you play it.
Yeah, but if you like really look at it, so with hibernation and everything, you're putting everything from like the underworld onto it. So that's 2 spirits for Ursa Den. You have to have a bear on board, so that's another spirit there. Like even if it's Ursicle, whatever bear, and then hibernation. So that's 4 spirits there, and then you're burning 2 because of Burning Woods.
Yeah.
So you're playing 6 spirits, and then you're moving the 4 to play big fucking bear. So you're playing 9 spirits essentially, and it's like it's not the greatest.
I'm still up in the air about it, but could see it going to the sideboard soon. But speaking of, we talked about it a little bit, but I want to go back on the topic of spiders. Last week, Josh called it the fraud build. So are we still gonna see that this week? I still think I'm holding out hope. I hold out hope for the bugs. I still think they're gonna get stuff done. Do you think this is gonna be that week?
Probably not.
Honestly, I think so because it was everyone in the penthouse was playing spiders that week,
except for Bo. Bo was on Hermes and Titan.
No, it's Bo. they play some weird stuff.
Bo makes it work.
They played Vol Clips. That's the last event, okay?
And they're able to do it.
Yeah, I know.
They're Bo.
Like almost all like the penthouse was playing the spiders build, and they all had changes they want to see that they think would make the deck better. I'm not gonna I know some of the changes. I'm not gonna say them unless you're in the bug Discord and you know them. But I think spiders will do hopefully better. Maybe come higher than 17th in this upcoming premiere. That's a hope. I don't know what I'm playing. I'm tied between like 4 lists right now. Spiders is one of them. So I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I just feel like more people are gonna be on champ like avoid stuff than they are going to be trying to do fun stuff, especially now that people are going to be getting like points or whatever to like try and get to worlds or whatever. People are definitely going to be a little bit more sweatier in these tournaments than they probably have been in the past formats, just because of like there's not real I guess sense of like not reward, but there's like just an incentive to really try and sweat hard for it. And now there's like a really real big incentive besides like winning like a uncut sheet for the 50th time. Folks are going to be more swayer and are going to be playing more meta decks, and that's why I think like stuff like the fun stuff like the spiders or like just like unique strategies that folks are trying to play aren't going to be as prevalent as much as they are going to be more. We're going to see a lot more just like hardcore like Frost, Anti-Titan stuff, just Lunar, like a Void Champ stuff that people are going to be playing mostly.
Yeah. Another deck that I'm really hoping gets its time to shine. It's probably not its time yet. Might not be its time ever. Is the brand new champion Javalantis. I,
Yeah, that card is so fun. It looks sick.
I'm holding out hope for it. I think it has a lot of potential. But it might just still run into the issues we talked about before of having with Artemis and Titan. It's just having the tools you need. Because if you really want to put pressure, you Poseidon over to the new champ Veritaqua, and then Veritaqua sends into Javalantis, and the Javalantis does piercing damage. Like it's got crazy potential, but again, suffers to the issue that we've always mentioned, being Champ Galaxy.
Yeah. Champ Galaxy really just like also stops a lot of these decks from like thriving as well, just because that card will just come down and ruin your entire strategy just because it just flops everything and it just messes up all the math and then messes up everything you set up. You're like, yeah, I got this big 7/4 body on the field, can pop cards, I'm chilling, and then you're like, yeah, I'm gonna play a well that beats every counter room besides Gorgon Gaze, so you better have it, or I'm finna just like destroy your whole strategy that you set up half the game for.
Yeah, yeah. Finally, a deck that I do want to see. I know people are still cooking with it. Might not be the time yet. I want to see some tech with Hermes.
Yeah.
I think Hermes has like crazy potential. I know Trish was talking about it during his like deck review stream. Like Trish didn't even know what like Hermes did at the time. I mean, like what the deck actually like functioned as. And he was like, I want to cook with this. I feel like there's a lot of potential. And that's what I mean. I think Trickery is a really cool card to work with. Insane potential. Spine Nymph being a one of combo to get into Spinosect.
Honestly, that
Literally
Spine
just-
Nymph is way too is like actually pretty fucking good. I've faced someone who's been playing it for the past couple weeks at locals, and they're not only are they like just a good player in general, they like figured out a really nice way to make it work and be super consistent. And I'll have to rely on all these other things like that. I don't think they play Champ Whale. I'm gonna be real. Like, I don't think.
I mean, if you're on Spinosect, I don't think you need to play Champ Wheel. You just bounce the card back to hand.
Well, not even just that. Like, because you could also go, oh, Champ Whale, make it a 7/5 instead of a 5/7 too, right? Yeah. But it like Hermes Trickery's been really good with it. Like, it's done very, very well, honestly.
Yeah, I think as time goes on, like I think Hermes Trickery is the most broken card in the set that they came out with. I feel like that card has crazy potential. Like the outplays you can do with that card on your opponent, and it's just like it forces them to like think about like, wait, what did you just do? And
what do you mean?
Like,
I can play Hesios Hearth, gain 2 health, and then also make your guy -6.
Oh yeah, bro.
Also, the deck literally running a built-in Earthquake with Carry On or Carry Off, whatever it is.
Kind of expensive, but
like it's an expensive Earthquake, but it's still a second Earthquake.
that is true.
I think that card. I mean, it might just be a one of, but I think that card's insane. Like if I'm running Hermes, I'm throwing in my top 16 Carry Off in there.
Honestly, I'd probably be like a 2
want to
of.
play it.
I'm gonna be real. I think it'd be like a 2 of, one so you can use for Earthquake, and then you can like summon the other one and put it back, kind of thing. I think it'd be
Trickery,
good.
and then it shuffles it back in.
Yeah.
I think pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're getting to the end of the podcast today. I want to ask one quick question for you guys. 2 decks that you would like to see hit top 8 this upcoming premiere. We'll start with you, Sylvie.
Honestly, Bears and Spiders. I really do want those to be like in the top 8, because not only are they like my favorite decks, and I've like played Bears multiple times. I was like for the longest time I was known as like the Bear guy at my locals. I feel like those 2 would be really nice decks to top, because they're part of like the original base set. You had like Warmite and Floracne in there, and then you had also fucking the bear shit in the original one. So like I feel like it'd be nice to see those come around, you know?
Keys, will go to you.
I don't think did Nick's top last event. Did it get top 8?
No, I don't think
No,
so.
I think I want to
Maybe
see
top 16.
Yeah, I think it got top 16, but I want to see Nixie Mirror hit top 8. I really want to see someone bring that deck to a revelation where people can like at least get a start to feel of a build, so where it start to like build Nixie and then just keep evolving from there. Because I really love this deck. I'm super excited to play it. This is one of the ones I think I'm going to be bringing for the premiere. I don't know. I'm also tossed up between that and Spiders. But I want to see Nick, and probably also go with Spiders. I think Spiders is a really fun, unique deck. I feel like it has a lot of potential, just being able to summon essentially just a 5 every turn, because like that's all War Mites are. They're just 5 kill spell cards that just be like, yeah, swing. And I want to see just what other people can bring with it, as well as like maybe find utilized for the other big spiders, like what is it, frost, the frost one,
the Polaracne and Fluoracne.
Polaracne. Yeah, I want to see people can like cook up something with those cards and be able to use those, as well as like the Pararachne or the new champ Fluoracne and stuff. So those are probably my top 2 ones I definitely want to see for sure.
Yeah. I think my first pick, very obvious. It, of course, Antian. Listen, no one saw that coming, guys. Nah. But really, though, I want to see this deck thrive. We only got one top 8, which was actually a top 4, which was pretty cool, by Bean Soldier. I want to see more people do well with this deck. I've been really pushing the Artemis build before I've been enlightened by this the 4th Antian build, I'm calling it right now. I just want to see someone do well with this deck. I think like the highest placing Antian list was Bo's Hermes list, like last time, and I think that was like 4-3. I just want to see. I want to watch stream. I just want to see someone drop Artemis, suppress an Elestral, and then here comes Ardbud, and then it gets to Antian. Like that's all I want to see. But for my second list, I'm gonna give it to the Bears. When I started this game, I found this game at a demo event at my locals, like around the time, like a couple weeks before Daybreak started. The person was hanging out decks. He made pre-made decks. He's like, "Who wants to try Bears?" And I'm like, "I want to try Bears. let me see that." I had a ton of fun with it until my friend dropped turn 1 Voltemptus on me. And then I was like, I don't like Voltemptus. But back to the topic of it. I seen what Bears can do. I versed Bears. And if I literally, like, the only time I versed Bears, I actually had the answers to it when I needed it. And I know if I don't draw the answers I need, like, you just lose on the spot. Like, Bears is just that powerful now, having that 2-card combo of Ursicle with Den or Hibernation. Just being able to search that, I think there's so much you can do.
Honestly, the scary part about Bears now is not even the combo, but the fact that they play the Rise at 1 still. Like, they play the Rise. So you're like, oh, I killed the bear. I'm fine. And they just rise it back. And it doesn't even matter if you have the effect back up. You just bring it back with a water and beat over everything.
Yeah. Yeah. So any final thoughts going to this premiere this week, guys?
I just want my decks to top.
Yeah, I hope one of us tops. It'll be cool to see our buddy represented. Shout us out, guys, on all your socials and stuff. Our buddies.
True.
Also, I know we should have done this earlier, but like, subscribe, leave a comment, and
do that.
Let us know what you want to possibly see in the next podcast.
And
honestly,
let us know what y'all are bringing to the premiere.
Yeah.
When y'all see this, I'm curious to know what other people, if y'all mind sharing. You know, I definitely want to know what other people are bringing to see what the meta might shake out look like to me for real.
Yeah. If you're not ready to leak out which deck you're playing, type in what you want to see hit top 8 like we did. Just type it out. Anything you want. Maybe it's one of those decks we talked about today. But anyway, make sure to like, subscribe. Stay tuned for next week's episode. We'll see you guys then.